You are now tuned in to DameSmiff.
Welcome to Musician Talks with DameSmiff. This is episode 46, and I want to talk to you guys about infrastructure as an artist. As you can see, I'm in a new place right now, but right now I'm out of town. But with that, let's go forward. But before I get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with anybody who's interested in the music industry, improving their soft skills as a musician or creative, or just want to learn how it works for musicians and artists to live in today's society. So I want to talk about infrastructure, why it's important for artists. Now, infrastructure in general is the resources you have set up around what you do to make sure that you can facilitate what it is you do. So, for example, if you're a instrumentalist, you want to be able to record, practice, and rehearse, and work out kinks, whatever, and learn new things. So that infrastructure would look like teachers that provide lessons, rehearsal space, possibly a repair technician just in case you need repairs or any improvements on your instrument. A music store where you can upgrade or purchase new equipment that you need, and your network and things of that nature. Now, for many artists, this is kind of an afterthought when it comes to their musical career, especially in music business, but it's very, very important at the end of the day. And the reason it's an afterthought is because musicians most of the time are focused on their skills, their talents, and networking and things like that. But if you can develop a proper infrastructure, relying on these things can be a lot easier and a lot more consistent. So let's talk about why it's important to set up your infrastructure. So your infrastructure is going to be able to help you know where to go and how to initiate and execute certain actions in the business. So if you want to record a song, your infrastructure will allow you to choose which studio to record at, which engineers to work with. And when you're done recording the song, you can figure out very easily, because you have this infrastructure, where to mix and master your music, where to distribute your music, and how to distribute your music. Without that infrastructure, you would have to be figuring that out on the fly, which consumes time, consumes resources, and of course consumes a lot more energy than you need to be putting forth. And that energy would be better suited going back to doing what you do best, which is creating music. So an example of a bad infrastructure would be just an infrastructure that's missing proper components of it, or an infrastructure that's just non-existent in itself. So if you can think of a bunch of studios in your city or things like that where you can record, but you don't have a relationship with any of them, haven't done business, or don't know what it's like to actually be within those studios, you don't necessarily have an infrastructure. You have options. And then on the other hand, if you do have all these things, but you don't have any consistency in your network, then you don't necessarily have an infrastructure. You still just have an option that you can choose from that essentially you don't know what kind of results you'll get from it. The important part of your infrastructure is understanding that the results are consistent. And I wanted to go into also what is a very, very good example of an infrastructure. Now, most times when we think about music, we think about people liking our music and people enjoying the music. But at the end of the day, in the music business, it's about selling records. So if your infrastructure doesn't set you up to get more sales or prospects, or get you like branding and notoriety to get more sales at the end of as the end result, the infrastructure may be a little flawed. So it's important to understand that when you're thinking about developing your infrastructure. So in your infrastructure, you want to make sure you have a way to create your music. I'm just going to be very general because it's different for every artist, but to create your music, perfect and hone, i.e. like mixing and mastering your music, packaging your music, like making vinyls, artwork, different CDs, maybe DVDs or compilation albums or whatever it is that you think your fans needed. And you need a way to promote this product that you have, i.e. social media, Facebook ads, or maybe you can do on the street marketing, maybe you have a storefront, whatever it is. And when you have those four components, the thing that glues all of that together is the network that you have to facilitate all of that. So if you have all four of those components, but you don't have people looking to help or improve or in roles and positions for you to improve, a lot of these things are going to be very impromptu, and they're not going to be set up for you to win, at least consistently. So I want to pose a question. In your career as an artist, even if you aren't an artist, in your career, where do you base the most importance in your infrastructure? Is it in the creation of music? Is it in the perfection of the sound, like getting it mixed and mastered perfectly for like radio and things like that, maybe film? Or is it more so in the network and the promotion? Where's the most importance for your infrastructure? And that's all I have for you today. So this was episode 46 with DameSmiff of Musician Talks, and we talked about infrastructure as an artist, and that's all I have. I'm out.